Hey, I'm Nika. After 12 years of living aboard my 11-meter sailboat, I've set out on a new kind of journey. This time through the Netherlands and Belgium, in search for a floating home that's a little bigger and offers a bit more stability. In this episode, I'll take you along as I visit canal boats number 2 and 3, while soaking in a few Dutch architectural gems and indulging in some local culinary treats. Curious whether either of these boats could be the one? Then let's dive in and find out. On our way back from visiting the first boat on my list, a 26-meter Steilsteven, we spotted an old windmill from 1889 just off the road. My dad and I couldn't resist the urge to stop and take a look inside this incredible piece of engineering. We climbed all the way to the top, passing the intricate gears and pulleys turned by the wind, and got a close-up look at the flour grinding mechanism. There was even an antique lathe that caught my eye, along with a few displays sharing the fascinating history of windmills in the Netherlands. We're in this old mill, and it's actually still running. It's pretty cool. So you can turn the whole head of the mill into the wind direction that you want it to be, and then you can even reef the sails of the mill. It's pretty impressive. It has a motor down below, like a one-cylinder motor, in case there's no wind, but usually it would be run by the wind, obviously, to make flour. Before heading to our next boat stop, we made a quick detour to the North Sea to take in a deep breath of salty air and admire some of the historic boats resting in the harbor. Now we're going to drive over one of the dams, so to our right there will be the Lauwersoog Sea, I guess, or lake, and then to our left will be the Northern Sea. So we see the ocean in a little bit. Is it just me, or do you also feel your soul wanting to spread its wings the moment your eyes meet the horizon? With our hearts full and our lungs refreshed, it was time for a bite of delicious coastal food before continuing the journey. We're having northern shrimps. They're like tiny northern sea shrimps. They're not like the big ones, but like small. They're super tasty. Alrighty, we're on the road. Today we're gonna visit boat number 2 and boat number 3. The first one is around 20 meters long, and it has a permit to function as a vessel that can be moved, so that's great. But it's also a lot more expensive. It's like 140,000 euros, so it's a little bit beyond my budget, but still I think it's going to be interesting to see one of the boats that is, well outfitted and actually ready to go. The place we're going to is called Zwartsluis. So that's like Black Lock. So there's actually 2 boats in the same village. They're just opposite of each other. And the second one that we're looking at today is very big one. It's long. It's 28 meters long. So it's probably not going to be what I'm looking for either. But still, we're grooving into this one boat at a time. And yeah, I'm excited to see how these boats will feel today. Luckily, in the Netherlands, everything is pretty close by, so it only took us about an hour and a half to drive from Lauwersoog to Zwartsluis, a small town just east of the IJsselmeer with narrow streets, charming buildings, and of course a picturesque canal system with ancient locks and boats of all kinds lining the edges. The first boat I'm viewing here is a former inland cargo vessel, a 20-meter tjalk that was fully refurbished in 2013. Even before stepping aboard, I can tell she's been well taken care of. Quite a contrast to the last boat I've visited. And the difference is also reflected in the price, 64,500 versus 135,000. Well, let's take a look inside. The upper area serves as the living room, and we're greeted by a feathery little friend.
What did he say?
No,
He says hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Mate.
Oh, hello.
It's also where the inside helm is located, so you can steer comfortably in bad weather. The boat has two lower sections. The first is a spacious kitchen in the bow with plenty of counter space and storage, something I really appreciate. There's an oven, a radiator, and to my surprise, one of the cabinets even hides a guest bed. But the surprises don't end there. Beneath the staircase, you can access a subfloor under the living area where I find 2 water tanks, a total of 2,000 litre, the pressure pump, more radiators, a ton of storage. I love this kind of thoughtful design. In the other lower section towards the stern is the master cabin, complete with a sink and 2 small separate rooms, one with a toilet and the other with a shower. There's even a washing machine. Pretty luxurious.
You want this boat? You want this boat?
Wow, it's such a difference to the other boat that we looked at. It's like super well maintained. A little bit of rust here and there, obviously, but still looks really good, and everything inside is pretty nice. One of the things I love most about canal boats is the generous outside seating area, and this one doesn't disappoint. It even has a rooftop that can be lowered hydraulically while cruising. Naturally, I also had to peek into the engine room, the center of everything, where I discover a 6-cylinder MWM motor. I believe it's made by Caterpillar, and there are 3 diesel tanks holding a total of 1,200 liters. A big generator and 2 kilowatts of solar on the roof connected through a Victron MPPT controller to 4 250 amp-hour AGM batteries. There's also a Cabola diesel heater for central heating and a 50-liter water boiler. That's a seriously solid setup, and now I understand the price difference. This was such an interesting visit, and the owners were incredibly welcoming. I think I need a moment to let everything settle and maybe get something into my belly before heading out to check out boat number 2. This is a very typical Dutch thing. It's called bittergarnituur, and it's different little snacks, most of them fried. We got a cheese ball, and there's like something like potato, veggie, and bacon. And now this, I think, is some kind of meat. Oh. Looks like a sausage. And then there's chicken, and I think these are bitterballen. I'm not sure. We're on our way to the second boat visit of today, which is basically just next door. It's a much bigger boat this time, 28.5 meters. We're supposed to meet somewhere here, but I think the boat is on the other side of the lock. The second boat couldn't be more different. The first thing I notice is how few windows it has, and at 29 meters long it feels almost overwhelming, especially when looking forward from the stern. As we step inside, we enter directly into the kitchen area with a large dining table to the left. There are 2 massive water tanks with a total capacity of 3,000 liters. Looking forward into the bow, the entire space is still pretty much a blank canvas. Aside from a small installed head, everything else is unfinished. The insulation is still visible, and the rawness of the space gives it more of a nightclub vibe than that of a home. I find it hard to imagine this ever feeling cozy or lived in. We take a quick look around, and I briefly chat with the owner about the idea of cutting a few meters off the boat, but it doesn't take long for me to realize, nope, this is not going to be my project. So we wrap up our visit and move on to the next stop on the agenda, the beautiful town of Zwartsluis. We're taking 3 days off from looking at houseboats, and today we're looking at a beautiful... My dad is struggling with my dog. And today we're looking at a beautiful old Hanseatic town. It's called Zwartsluis and has like little canals all around and through it. There's like big old city walls because, you know, they needed all the protection during the Hanseatic trade times. And there's also some pretty little houseboats everywhere. So kind of getting a feel for it. Zwartsluis instantly wraps you in its charm. With its Hanseatic roots still visible in the gabled facades and cobblestone streets, the city feels like a gentle blend where century-old stories meet everyday life. The old town is cradled by a canal system that's not just beautiful, but alive, lined with floating homes that give Zwartsluis a unique rhythm. Add to that the lush green parks scattered throughout the city, and you get a place that breathes calm and connection. It's one of those towns where time seems to move just a little slower, and I absolutely love that. It's really cool. There's a little place here where there's a couple of houseboats, so it gives me a bit of a feeling of what it would look like to be actually living somewhere on the houseboat, and they all have little gardens and solar panels, and little terraces and stuff, little tenders. So it's kind of nice to see them in action. Looking back at that part of the journey now makes me realize that it was a lot to take in. Each boat that I looked at gave me a better understanding of what I was actually looking for and what wouldn't work. That tjalk in Zwartsluis, it left a really good impression. Even with its 20 meters, it seemed pretty compact and manageable. It was well maintained, it was pretty much ready to go, and honestly it would have been the perfect choice if I had just been looking for a floating home to cruise the European waterways. But there is two killer criteria for this boat. One, it's very far outside my budget. And the second one is that the layout wouldn't work for renting out the boat whilst I'm not on the boat myself. And that 29-meter boat, it was just too large, too big, too heavy, and I would have needed like a full-on river pattern to run it. And I think the main reason also was that I just didn't get the vibe. The very first boat I looked at would have been like a complete refit as well, and that's not a killer criteria for me. But with this boat, I couldn't even get myself to imagine what it would feel and look like after a refit. So I think it was just, you know, I didn't get the vibe from the boat. And to me, I believe that boats have a soul. So connecting on that area is something very important to me as well to make a purchase decision. So I left that leg of the journey with a lot of input, a lot of different impressions, a little bit of clarity in my head, but mostly realizing that there are still so many unanswered questions and that I did need to do more digging to find what I was really looking for. Before diving into the next round of boat visits, I allowed myself to take a little break just to let my mind settle a little bit and to be fresh enough to be able to take in the new input that comes with the next round of boats. And I also wanted to fulfill myself a small little dream that I've had ever since watching the movie in Bruges. So in the next episode, I'm going to take you along exploring this magical place, and of course there's also going to be a boat visit because that's what we're here for, right? But more about that next time.